Welcome to The One Thing, where each episode features our signature segment, Pandora's Box. We dive into hot topics that challenge the norm and ignite real conversation.
Inspired by Greek mythology, Pandora's Box isn't just about chaos. It's about truth, transformation and hope. That's what we bring to every conversation.
Have a cause or business that deserves to be seen? Want to be remembered forevermore? Be our next special guest. Contact us today at theonething@edgeradioaustralia.com.
And you're listening to The One Thing on Edge Radio Australia. It's so good to have everybody here today. I'm joined by Leanne and Aaron and our special guest Helen, who I'll introduce you to shortly. We have had so much interest in this topic. Can a diagnosis of adult ADHD actually be a superpower? And I have somebody here today that is going to prove that the answer is yes. So we are joined by the unstoppable Helen Miller. She's a self-described activist for the greater good, and she is fueled by passion and ADHD. And she is a powerhouse of energy and conviction. I said that. See, I think I might have it too.
To be sure.
Do you think?
And if there is a cause worth championing, you'll likely find Helen at the front lines. Driven, dynamic and determined. But it wasn't until she received her ADHD diagnosis at the age of 57 that everything in her life finally made sense. And in tonight's episode, we're actually going to be opening the box, or this morning, wherever you're listening in the world, about
Pandora's
her journey
box.
through life, opening Pandora's box. Thank you.
Not just any box, Lisa.
It is not just any box.
This is not something that's come from Amazon.
We're
Bigger
going to be
deal.
opening Pandora's box. Her journey through life, unconventional yet deeply purposeful. I've known Helen for nearly 10 years and she's definitely unconventional. The clarity and empowerment that her late diagnosis has brought, and how ADHD became a catalyst for her activism and advocacy. And we've even got some photographs about that, which is pretty exciting. And why neurodivergence can be a gift and not a curse. Leanne, tell us what it means to have ADHD. And I know in the world in which we live in today that everybody knows at least one person with these symptoms.
Yeah, and whether it's diagnosed or undiagnosed, right?
Yes.
So the difference between ADD and ADHD mainly comes down to the terminology and how the condition is classified today. So ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is the medical term used. ADHD predominantly is an inactive presentation of difficulty in focusing, easily distracted.
Just put up your hand every time you agree.
Forgetful. No.
Her hand is going to be up for the entire show. Come on.
Often called classic ADD.
Okay.
Classic. She's a classic. In casual conversation, ADHD predominantly is hyperactive, impulsive presentation, fidgety or restless, talks excessively, that sounds like me, acts without thinking, sounds like me. It's combined presentation of a mix of inattentiveness and hyperactive and impulsivity, whereas ADD is attention deficit disorder, an outdated term used in the 90s to describe the inattentive type of ADHD people who have trouble focusing. So it is commonly still used, the ADD, but it is no longer a clinical diagnosis. So it's considered outdated, and ADHD is actually classified depending on the symptoms that you have. Helen,
what symptoms do you have?
Hi, Joe. Gosh, what symptoms don't I have? But it's interesting. I probably don't have all the different ADHD, but I do have a lot to do with not so much inattentive.
Okay.
I'm only inattentive with things I don't like, but I can hyper focus on everything I do like.
That sounds clever to me.
It's actually something I didn't realise until I got that diagnosis.
Right.
And the reason I say that is because I do a lot of genealogy, and I can sit down like for 10 hours, be totally engrossed, and at 3 a.m, my husband will come along and go, "Are you coming to bed, Helen?" No, I'm just about to get through another brick wall here. And it's extraordinary the amount of energy you can actually have in that vein, I
Helen,
suppose.
how good is 3 a.m.? Honestly, 3 a.m. is the best time. This is when I've got major creativity going on.
Isn't it?
We get stuff done. We're not being irritated by those outside people slowing us down. No.
Yeah.
3 a.m. is
And
the
you
time.
know Lisa won't be messaging you at 3
exactly.
a.m.
I know.
Lisa will message you at 5 a.m.
That's right, when she gets up. Which to me, 5 a.m. is still yesterday. I don't get these people. No. I work on a very different schedule to that.
Yes.
But can I ask you this question
Yes.
straight out? Because you obviously found out as an adult, right?
I did.
As a
yes.
child, as an adolescent, as a young adult, did you just think you were a bit weird?
No. I
Okay.
thought I was quite normal.
Okay.
I just thought everyone else was.
I totally agree.
And then it was when I was diagnosed, I thought, oh my God, doesn't everyone feel like this?
So
What
how
were
were
you
you
like?
diagnosed, Helen?
Okay. Well, it was fun. It was interesting because had just moved to Albany.
Okay.
And I had to go to my physio because I'd hurt my back. And my mother said, "You need to go and see Jenny."
Okay.
And I said, "Okay, I'll go and see Jenny." So I went out, and after my third session with Jenny, she said, "Helen, I hope you don't mind, but do you have ADHD?" And I was like, maybe I do. I don't know. And she said, "Well, there's behaviours that you're displaying."
Mhm.
And she was so nice. And she said, very similar to my son. He was a young guy. And she said, you can always, when you go to the doctor next, ask him.
Okay.
So I was intrigued. So I went, right, I must go to the doctors. So next time I was at the doctor's, I
Yep.
said, "Look, someone's brought up that I could have ADHD." And he goes, probably. Yes, Helen. And so
Said the quiet bit out loud. There we go.
and he was very nice.
Mm.
And he gave me a set of little questions. And he said, well, the only way you can get it diagnosed properly was to go and see a psychiatrist.
Okay.
So I booked in to see a psychiatrist down in Albany. And I had to do what they call a DSM test, which is a set of questions.
Yep.
And I practically ticked all the boxes.
Okay.
And I thought, wow, that's interesting.
Somebody told me today there's a 3-year wait in Perth to
For
be
children.
diagnosed for children, is
Yeah,
it?
because
Yeah.
I was adult,
Yeah.
and there is it can be 12 months for children
Mhm.
Okay.
because there seems to be such a high volume of children.
Okay. I'm
especially
going to go.
boys,
I'm going to
especially
go on the
boys.
attack on this one. Okay.
Okay.
Really am, because I'm clearly ADHD myself. Although I self-diagnosed, right? Actually, that's not even true. I've done that test that you're talking about.
Oh yes.
So yeah, okay, yeah, I am, right? And I embrace it because it gets stuff done, And okay, there's negative sides to it, but there's far more positives.
Yes.
And as a child, I always felt different. I just felt like I didn't quite fit in, but I wasn't unhappy about that. I was actually quite happy that I didn't fit in, and I wanted to do things differently, and I wanted the box to be ripped apart. I didn't want to live in the box. So for me, I get very upset now because I think about my parents, what saints, okay, and particularly my mum, because I was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. But thank goodness they didn't, rush me off and get me full of Ritalin and drugs, and that's what's
Yes.
happening now.
Yeah.
And I believe a lot of parents are being financially incentivized too because they get a carer's allowance.
Really?
Right? Yes, they do.
For ADHD?
Wow.
Yes, they do.
I thought that was significantly for people on the high end of autism.
Look, I know of people who are actually getting carers payments, okay, for their children because they're on ADHD medication, on specifically an antidepressants. They kind of throw
It's on the
these kids.
disability schedule. Like I've got they call it disability. I don't
Oh,
think
it's a
I don't-
superpower.
How can it be disability
I
when
actually don't
half
bel-
the population has it?
Yeah.
because people think it's a deficiency. I don't look at it as a deficiency. You know how they say what is it? ADHD, the deficient, whatever it is, attention deficit.
Deficit hyperactive disorder.
There's certain aspects I'm really attentive to,
Mhm.
but it's things I'm not interested in. I'll
Yeah.
just I just go into another world,
Yeah,
and
but they're
that's what happened to me at
boring.
school.
They are boring.
They're
Mm.
boring.
Why not?
Why
And
would
why
you
not-
want to be engaged in something that's
Well, that's what I found that at school. I was really good in primary school. I loved all the primary school stuff. That was great.
Mhm.
And then I used to love reading. I was a big reader from quite a
So
young
the teacher
age.
didn't always tell you to be quiet?
I think my mother always was trying to tell me to shut up.
Okay.
She threw
You
me.
thought that was your name, right? Yeah.
Shut up. And she threw me across the room once.
Oh.
That was in Scotland. And I can understand why. I would have driven her nuts at times because I had 2 younger brothers. And, you know, because when I was born first, my younger brother, 17 months. And I had been the centre of attention until he was born.
Okay.
And I couldn't work out what the hell this little shit of a thing has
Yeah,
arrived.
yeah.
And it's taken all the attention away. And I'm sure, and they can't tell you at 17 months, look, we love you, Helen. You're such a wonderful
But
thing.
you saw last week's news. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. And I was just very put out, I suppose. But
I'll get that.
but that's I find that an interesting concept as well.
Thoroughly agree.
Is ADHD brought on? Is it genetic?
Oh, now I want to actually just drag your eyes to the screen, if I may, because we're getting questions come in. So thank you, Eno, for this question. Can a super hyper child still be referred to as having ADHD? What are your thoughts, everybody?
Well, they'd have to go and get diagnosed, wouldn't they?
Okay.
To get it officially.
Yeah, okay. Forget about official.
I think generally people would probably say they were ADHD
In this day and age. But I want to be really careful here because I don't want to discount the fact that there's people genuinely not coping in today's world, and there's people that genuinely find the medication helps. So I don't want to discount that. But I also feel that the way that we are living in today's society is not natural. We're putting people in tiny houses and apartments. They don't have big yards. We're putting children in school classrooms. I don't think it's natural to be sitting for so long. We're feeding them food that isn't rubbish. Well, a lot, and it's difficult to get healthy food. Not feed it. We don't have good quality water in a lot of cases.
True.
There's a lot of marriage breakups. So I think half the children aren't in a
sugar and
home.
preservatives. I think are probably the
got sugar and preservatives. We've got all the genetics coming down.
What they put in vaccines.
All the vaccines.
We certainly hear that one. Look, okay, here's the thing.
And one more thing, just before you
go.
go, we've also got half. I've got to be careful with my statistics here, but it seems to me that a lot of parents are on antidepressants and medications themselves. So that has to come down as well.
Straight up, I can tell you the stats in America. So 66% of American women, are on antidepressants.
How many?
66%.
Yeah, it's quite.
God.
I agree.
I shouldn't say antidepressant, on some form of antidepressant or antipsychotic.
Yes.
So that's 2/3 of the population, which is terrifying.
And then we wonder about our children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I find it very interesting that, we care so much about chickens. I like chickens, we don't want battery hens. We don't want these things being put in these horrible little cages and fed bad food, right, and used to provide eggs for us, right? So why are we doing this with human beings?
We are.
Because we're doing the exact same thing. What we're doing, putting everyone in a tiny little box, exactly how you said, these little apartments and that, and then we're feeding them emotionally, physically, and intellectually,
Uber
rubbish. Yeah.
I mean, people aren't even leaving their houses.
Yeah.
Because they can get Uber Eats being delivered.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's just an example. Or Coles or Woolies delivers.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are becoming quite insular. They're not, the community's sort of dying.
And this is Lisa's got a question up here.
Yeah,
Lisa
let's jump in this
L,
one.
because this is a question that I want to know as well. Is there an advantage for an adult to get diagnosed?
For me personally, it was probably the best thing that ever happened.
And why was that?
Because I understood my behaviours.
I'm
As at the moment, I'm not on. I was put on Dexies when I first got diagnosed, and that was the most incredible thing I've ever had. Because first of all, I had to go home and do a week of 5 milligrams. I spent a whole week sleeping.
Wow.
Because medication seems to do the opposite to me for some reason. And a friend of mine said, I knew you'd be like that. And that was purely because she knew my behaviours, etc., and knew a little bit about pharmaceuticals.
Yep.
She said, yes, that happens to people who are a bit, back to front.
Yeah.
And so I actually then went on to 10 milligrams And wow, it's like sitting on the couch and I could watch television without, what am I doing? Like having 100 million other things to do.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it and I went, wow, this is good.
So is it kind of like when I'm on my computer, I'll have 20, 25 tabs open. So is it kind of like you don't have all your tabs open?
And you'll
like you've just got one tab and you can focus.
Yeah. Or you're getting up and about and stop it, go and get a cup of tea. Who's that? God, I get distracted quite often with other things.
But how is it? Because you said before that you can hyper-focus on your genealogy.
Yes.
So how can you hyper-focus on your genealogy but not on a TV show without medication? How does that work?
Probably because, I don't know, I could probably hyper-focus on something I'm really enjoying.
Okay.
And when I'm doing because I'm doing it through ancestry.com when I do mine. So it's like a research program. You're literally.
You love it.
I just love it.
You love it.
Very nosy person, like to know what's going on. I wonder what's wrong with their family.
Yeah.
But I love history. I always have loved history. And I've always been reasonably good on computers. I taught myself. And it was just something. I started doing it because my husband he didn't know really his family's grandparents, great-grandparents. Okay. And I thought, great, I'll look into it. So that was in 2012. Yep. And by Jove, it was just so interesting that I just went on and on. I've done all my family, I've got step families, I've got family, like both my parents are remarried.
Yep.
I've never been married. I've never had children.
Okay.
But I'm married now. Got married. I was an old bride.
Right.
At 47. And
47
I was
married.
very dusty. So and so it was time. I came off the shelf. And see, this is another thing when you've got ADHD, your brain just doesn't stop. And I could go about 5 different areas now.
Yeah.
I'm trying, where were we? I've got to come back to where we and it's very difficult at times.
I completely understand. Look around this room, look around any of this studio, and you're surrounded by stimuli, and that's for a reason. We've done that very much for a reason.
Yeah, I feel very stimulated.
Because quite frankly, I think everybody who works here at Edge, we've all got either full ADHD, ADD, whatever you want to call it, or or just
we're all awesome.
Yeah, we're all awesome. That's the thing.
Do you want to read out the other question?
I definitely want to answer this question. Let's jump into that, Leanne.
So Lisa again asked, are there? Oh, it's gone. But
It's coming back. Look at that.
Are there resources that can help with the different challenges an adult who is undiagnosed experiences?
Yeah, I agree. I do a lot of exercise.
Yeah.
I find exercise is really good. I make sure I eat good food.
Stay away from sugar.
I'm a little bit chunky, but I've always been a bit chunky. And the other thing I find is exercise, good food, and not too much alcohol. I used to drink a lot of alcohol.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I think it was a way of suppressing.
Yeah.
Or I just get bored.
One of the things that I would love to do, and we've got some fantastic photographs to really demonstrate how you are getting out in the community and using this energy that you have.
Okay.
But what I'd love for you to share with everybody is even during the time I've known you, you've had a lot of different jobs. Is there a particular job that you found more difficult because of the ADHD?
I do. Well,
I mean, I think most people would be interested to know that you're a prison officer because you just don't strike me as a prison officer.
That was one of the best jobs I ever had.
There you go.
It. It was great. I'd also worked prior to that, though, with Centrelink as a personal advisor. And I'd worked I was the PA for a superintendent up in Broome. And with what you're asking, I never knew what I wanted to do. I thought I could be a teacher when I was at school,
Okay.
but there was a few things that got in the way, and I ended up. Mum wanted me to be secretary. I was bloody useless. She put me in Hartles and Underwood. Then I had to go down to Albany because I didn't do very well at Hartles. In fact, I was only there for 6 days out of 6 weeks, which would have been 12 months, and I just wasn't capable of sitting down and doing that type of
I
activity.
can't imagine why. Jeez.
No, I was only 18 at the time.
Look, we've got some great questions coming through.
Oh,
and
so
I'm gonna,
sorry,
no,
yes.
don't be silly. Absolutely. We're here to celebrate you. And that is actually the
That's
truth of the
very
matter.
nice.
Yeah, well,
I've
that's
never
what's-
been celebrated before.
and it's the last time. Won't happen again. I want to just take a quick break. And when we get back, actually, I want to talk about your activism. I think that's really important to talk about.
Yes.
But also, we'll jump into the questions as well. And
Yeah.
for the moment, though, we'll be back in just a second.
Is pain holding you back? Bowen Therapy with Panacea Healing can change that for you. It's never too late to recharge your health, career, or purpose. You have the power within yourself to change what no longer serves you, taking your life and health to another level. panaceahealing.com.au. You can do anything.
You can do anything. And here's a woman who is living proof right now. Absolutely fantastic. Helen Miller with us to talk about all things ADHD and experience. Like a lot of us have self-diagnosed, let's be frank. Others have been diagnosed. And in my eyes, it's an absolute superpower. I think that's something that we should all embrace. And I think we should embrace the fact that we're different. Okay? All people, whatever your quirk.
Everyone's an individual.
Yeah.
All of us,
100%
all of
agree.
you. We all come with our own individuality, like from our DNA right through to our life experiences. And that's just our life experiences, I believe, that form the opinions that you generate through your life.
Yeah,
Helen, you have a lot of opinions. Now, we've seen a bit of this through your activism. So do you want to just, now where do we wind back? We could wind back to the natural one that all happened when the world changed a little bit in March 2020. But
I
your
could go back to
activism-
1991.
Let's do that then.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I had I'd been working in pathology in the Mount Hospital and St John of God's Hospital in Subiaco, and I ended up I managed to get into university, believe it or not. University wasn't for me. I just couldn't cope. And that was in the recreation phys ed style, which I thought would be great. And I ended up getting glandular fever, and I had to go down to Albany to where my mother was. And I was exhausted. But this is something I now am aware of. I was trying to do university, play with the 20-year-olds, play with my age group because I was 30 at the time. And I just was overdoing it. I used to get up at 4:30, running, swimming. I've always been into all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I believe that was a way of counteracting my ADHD, which I had no idea I had. And so I ended up going to Albany. And the reason I went, and I got into this guy who was his name was John Kelly, and he did massage and all sorts of holistic.
Now, hang on,
type.
it wasn't R. Kelly, was it?
No,
Just making sure.
just John Kelly.
John Kelly, sorry.
He was a lovely little Englishman, and he was he was amazing.
Okay.
And I ended up working for him, and I learned a little bit about holistic medicine, and I thought, gosh, that makes sense. And it triggered something in me to look into.
Right.
And so from then on, I then ended up going up to Broome and working in all sorts of different capacities. But one of them was working in the pathology. And that's when I went, I don't like this. It just felt not healthy. I don't know. I just changed my whole perspective on health. And if modern medicine, why is everyone getting sick still?
Yeah,
We should-
absolutely, 100%.
And the other thing I noticed was the supermarket, for example, health. It's just this wee little area. And I thought, gosh, what is everything else then?
Yeah.
So what was the activism you started in the 90s then?
In the night, well, I'd been working with the ADHD, HIV. That was quite prevalent in those times.
Sorry, can you
And-
back that up a little bit? So you were.
So I was working in the blood area, like the haematology.
Yeah,
department,
sure.
And taking blood, mixing poops and wees and all sorts of things.
Sounds so glamorous.
I actually quite enjoyed it. I must admit, I've
Great dinner
enjoyed
conversation.
everything I've ever done. I've actually enjoyed, but
Well, that's cool.
But you get bored,
Yeah.
and that's what I found. It's like,
And is that
It's
a
not
common thing with
stimulating.
ADHD is get bored easily?
well, with me it was,
Yeah, yeah.
And honestly, I've gone from one thing to another, and I mean, I could, my CV is about 12 pages long.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, I just thought, what is wrong with me? I can't seem to do the classes, the university. I can't stay in a job for very long. And it wasn't that I didn't like the jobs. It was just, oh gosh, I was on to the next thing. I thought,
Yeah.
oh, that'd be good to try. And so, for example, I went from pathology into housing, the government housings.
Natural progression, obviously.
Yes. But I didn't really enjoy it. It was just like, a bit too rigid for me.
Okay.
So
on that, okay.
anyway, going back, to what
go
you
on.
were saying about the activism.
Yeah.
You have to keep her on track.
We
Oh my
do.
gosh.
You got to bring me back.
Stay on
Bring me back.
target. Stay on target.
So,
Okay.
yeah, because we're going into that activism role.
Yeah.
I wasn't so much activist within the 90s, but I started to see things a bit
Differently.
You started
This
to
was-
wake up.
Yeah.
And I got into all sorts of different holistic type of medicine. And I got into, what is juicing and all the hell. I started stopped the sugar.
Mhm.
The only thing I didn't stop was the alcohol for a while. Bit of a party girl. And I now realise that
Well, that's made out of grapes if you
Yeah.
drink wine.
Yeah.
and hops.
It's just grape
Yeah.
juice and barley. I mean, it's very
That's it.
healthy. Vitamin B. Love it.
So, yes. So, and then I was actually following a bit on Fauci back then too.
Oh, jeez.
With the
what a fella.
AZT. And I thought, that's not good. And if anyone, look up AZT and you'll just Google it. And then Robert F. Kennedy, he was a lawyer for a lot of those. He was the guy that was looking after the people that were having issues with the AZT.
Sure.
And I thought, oh, that's interesting. But in those days, we didn't have our internet.
No,
So
that's a good point.
it was-
so much harder.
And like it is today, but a lot more restricted. You had the library, really. We had to write off and get information.
Helen, you're going to have to explain what a library is to many of our audience. It's, it was a building that had books in it. Okay?
No, there's still libraries out there.
Would you like me to put these photographs up?
Yeah, well, why not?
Let's put 'em
Are
up.
these the pictures, or are we talking about video? What have we got?
Well, it is a picture. They are pictures that have been made a video of. That wasn't very good grammatically, was
How about
it?
we hit the
A
play
video
button and see
that
what
has been
happens?
made from
and I'm just
pictures.
going to make sure that when I put them up that we can still see us. So,
Look, we don't need to see us.
Oh,
We can
look,
see it,
hello.
okay? Hi, everyone. There we go.
There we go.
It's
There we
me.
are.
You can still
Fantastic.
see me.
So
right,
this-
so that is Helen Miller.
Oh, now it looks like a little bit of an activist. Look at that.
Yes.
Yes, standing up. And this is great to see. Look, a couple of different parties there.
Yeah, I was supporting Jared Rennick.
Sure. A fantastic man, by the way.
There's Hoodie.
Yeah, we're great to
Michelle.
see Hoodie there and some fantastic people.
Look, my
Quite frankly.
pronouns, I lied.
They
Oh,
lied.
your pronouns. That is so true. Look at that.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
you
that
are.
one.
Look at you.
She's stylish.
Courage is the cure.
Hey, Robin. We love you, Robin.
Michael.
Great to see
Michael.
Michael there, of course, as
Yeah.
well.
Michael came down to Albany and I said hello.
Now, I remember
I
this
remember
sign
that sign
distinctly.
too.
There we
Yes,
go.
that was
Pretty
one
sure
of
it was
those rallies, I think we
Yeah,
were.
we may have been at those.
That was
Fantastic.
me on Albany down
Uh,
the street. I think that,
there we
there's
go.
Pauline.
Absolutely. And then the photo before, it's good to see you standing up for equality. That's a really cool thing.
Yep.
Again, standing up for Jared Rennick. I mean,
Yeah,
a
that,
great
was on,
man.
that was on voting day. Oh,
Okay.
look, and there's Douglas Murray.
Oh, look, what a voice
Oh,
that
I
man's
think he was
got.
quite glad to get rid of me.
You really could
Make
use one.
America great again, MAGA.
Look at you. Look at you go.
Oh,
Again,
yes.
the real celebrities
That
are
was
here
a
now. There we go.
Topolini's. Topolini's cafe.
Absolutely.
Axe the Axe. That was,
Aboriginal Cultural Heritage Act,
yes.
which
that's
I'm
correct.
very proud to say, and we'll just look at that. The video is just going to keep going, is it? Okay, we'll just roll it forever, shall we?
I think
We're
we
really
better-
enjoying it.
My
Okay.
intention
Come on,
was to
let's-
actually remove it.
Oh, it's all good. All right, what we'll
Okay.
I
do.
must admit, I've been very lucky to have the opportunity to go and do
Are
a
you
lot
gonna
of those
remove
things.
it?
I don't know how, to be honest. You're in control of this. This is where things have gone completely off the
I
rails.
Don't worry, you just keep seeing me.
Yeah, that's right. That's
All right,
right.
what I'll do is I'll just delete it.
Can
and
I tell
then-
you something actually that I'm very, very proud
Oh,
of?
now we can't
I
see
suppose.
us.
Okay, well, we'll just sit here in the dark, shall we? There we go. It's Christmas miracle. With that Aboriginal Heritage Act, and I want to make this very, very clear. Okay, I'm so annoyed when people go, "Oh, you're against that, therefore you must be a racist." It's the dumbest thing ever.
Rubbish.
Quite frankly, I want equality, genuine equality between men, women, people of every background, color, religion. Who cares, right? Okay. End of the day, I'm about your integrity and who you are as a person, not the color of your skin, your melanin, right?
Yes.
But I'm very proud that actually I've spoken to someone who is in a position of power behind the scenes. I can't disclose who it is, but they actually said that when we did, Edge did a live, we did a town hall from down in Wagen about
yes.
the Heritage Act, And that was because of the following. 500,000 people were watching it, all of that, because of the momentum. That actually was part of the reason why the government backed down.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of that from a
Okay.
personal standpoint,
Yes,
something that
yeah.
we believe in very much. And what I'm getting at is it's people power. When we all get together, we join together, we put our power together. We see wonderful activists like yourself, okay, who care about the big issues. And like you were there with different politicians.
With the Indigenous mob,
Yep.
I've been very fortunate through a lot of my life. From Katanning, I went to
Yeah.
Katanning Primary School,
Okay.
and they had the Marybank children. They were Indigenous children that
Right.
were out at Marybank, which was a hostel.
Okay. I didn't think it was an ATM. Okay.
And they were in our class, and I got to know because I was from Scotland initially, and I thought, oh, I'd never met an Aboriginal before,
Right.
and I was 8 when I first came out here.
Yeah. Okay.
And I thought, wow, they look great. Didn't even see any difference, to be honest.
No, there's no difference.
And at school, I went to Presbyterian Ladies College.
Okay.
Can't you tell? I'm such a
oh,
lady.
goodness.
Yes. Just a side note, we always knew when I went to school, you never date a girl from PL. So there you go.
Well,
Well, no
that's
one
St.
dated
Bees.
me. You must have spoken to
There you
everyone else.
go. There you go.
What
We've
about
got quite the
me?
reputation. I'm just saying.
What about St. Bridget's, Aaron?
I have the right to remain silent. Actually, no, they were on the good
St.
list.
Piglet.
What about Gosnells High School?
They were on the,
Gozzy High.
Gozzy
Oh,
High.
they were.
But getting back to
yeah,
the
go
Indigenous, I had a really good friend who was from Sister Kate's, and she had been sent to PLC
Yep.
as a boarder, and her brother, not her actual blood brother, he'd gone to Hale, where my brother was.
Okay.
And I became friends with both. And then I had the privilege of going, when I went up to Broome, I worked with the Indigenous mob in a capacity, like I went to help them with the office stuff.
All right.
But no other lady, no other white lady was there. This was the Jandu women's group. And I was with them for 6 weeks, 6 months, sorry. And I did that as a volunteer.
Okay.
And I learned so much from these amazing women. And that has actually given me the opportunity into the Broome environment and that
Good.
Jandu. Because I lived in Broome for about 18 years.
Right.
And I worked in the Centrelink. I did all different types, from hotels, chambermaid. Didn't really enjoy that job.
So what years?
I don't think it's called a chambermaid.
No, it was.
Really?
Well, don't you think the chambermaid sounds better than cleaner?
Well, hang on. What years did you?
Chambermaid sounds like you're going to go and empty a piss pot.
Well, true. That was back in the old days. They
Back
used
in
to
the
do that.
day.
I did. I never did that.
No.
We're going to
Right.
make sure
Then I ended up
You were there when we had plumbing. Look at that.
That's
Yeah,
right.
okay.
But then I ended up being the tennis hostess.
All right.
Oh, I did enjoy that. And you had the little shop. And I used to run the shop. And Doug Smith, he was the coach there at the time. And I was given the privilege of, this is me, my one and only claim to fame. I actually played an exhibition match with Ken Rosewall.
Nice.
I partnered him. And
Oh.
but I laughed when I did a double fault. And he said, that's something you should never do. But I was like, God, I had a few beers before I played because I was a bit nervous. But I shouldn't have been. It was really.
Helen, do you
Lovely
mind if we just answer some of these
Oh,
questions?
gosh, I'm so sorry.
Is that
See,
all
now
right?
I'm chatting away.
Because we've got people coming in. So Lisa has asked, does medication tend to make the brightness in the world dim? What a great question.
For me, it didn't.
No.
Okay.
It in fact, it slowed me down enough so I could actually enjoy or smell the roses, I suppose.
Now I'm going to bite on that one because everybody's different.
Everyone's different,
And
yes.
our chemicals are different. So my answer to that, Lisa L, with the little L, is it does. For me,
For you, yes.
I went on the old medication to slow down and not going to carry on.
Oh, so you've tried ADHD medication?
I have tried,
Okay.
kind of similar but different.
Yeah.
And I absolutely hated it. I didn't see the highs. I didn't see the lows. I just
Okay.
felt,
Well, that was my experience on antidepressants.
right,
Yeah.
okay,
Oh,
right.
That's a lot of
okay.
people's experience on
Yeah,
antidepressants.
and I don't want life like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
again, like I think it's really
Yes,
important for
yes,
people to, you know what, don't dismiss these things. They might be right for you. They might be the perfect answer, but at the same time, if it's not working for you, get rid of it and
I
try
want-
something
The
different.
best part for me, I lost weight.
Sign me up.
And I
Come on.
this is on Dexies. I thought, I feel like I'm losing weight. And
Well, they're a big part of the nightclubbing scene.
We do
in the
not
late
treat,
90s.
diagnose, or cure on the one thing,
No.
and we would not recommend you do it for weight
no,
loss.
not at all.
No,
But
but I'll tell you what, the early 2000s in nightclubs were a lot of fun.
Yeah, but you see, I fall asleep. The way
Really?
my boyfriend put some stuff in my drink, and
Oh.
I drank it, and I had to go home. I felt like the Queen Mother. Like I was like, God, everyone's going mad. And I'm
Yeah.
like, God, I'm very tired,
Wow.
and which was really strange.
Wow.
I'd never normally, because I didn't really need much stimulation.
I want to bring back to the activism
Yes. Oh, yes. Right.
just a little bit, and ADHD. Do you think that your superpower of ADHD has helped influence you and be able to get you through all of these activities that you do with your activism, with what you're doing, with everything that you've got? Or would you rather be on medication so you have that, you know, you have that focus on one thing and you're like, well, what do you think it's a superpower in that aspect?
I think what it's given me is the opportunity to question a lot of things.
Yeah, okay, great.
And not have that fear of what people might think.
Yeah, that's a big thing. A lot of people live in fear. Yeah.
And that's all right. I can understand why, because we all want to belong.
Yeah.
I've always felt like I'm a bit of a round peg trying to get into a square hole, because I always seem to say things that might not be quite right, or I've always thought they were.
I just call that foot and mouth disease. I have that.
Foot and mouth. That's a good one. Well, I've had foot and mouth.
But Helen, that's one of the things I love about you is you have no filter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I love it because you're genuine and you speak
yeah.
from the heart, and I trust you because of that.
Well,
It's
I
the
think
people.
integrity is something that I find integrity is important.
Yes.
And I use the example with the COVID jibby jabs, or the vaccines, or I call them inoculations. I just couldn't have one of those. I just only because if it should never have been mandated. I think we all should have been able to
Make our own decision.
And look, we were very fortunate in Australia, and I'm going to say that because there are people watching in other parts of the world
Oh, yes.
who would have had it a lot tougher than what we did. At least we could still eat and drink. And
I don't know about that. I'm telling you right now, it was pretty damn difficult. We couldn't go places. We were treated like third-class citizens, and
we treated like lepers.
We were, and look, obviously,
especially by some friends and family.
Look, Helen and I obviously spoke from my role as part of the COVID. What would we call it? We'll just call it the situation.
Bullshit.
That's the word.
You remembered Aaron emceeing, you said.
I did.
Yeah.
And because I was living in Albany, and I was so excited. It came up to Perth for the second rally that they had. I also came up for one where they had the nurses, the fireys.
Yeah, that was an amazing rally.
The prison officers.
Oh, the one that was only 1,500 people.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
And you see, I was an
150
ex-prison officer at that stage, but they welcomed me into the fold.
Yes.
And my husband came up for that as well, which was really nice, because I think he finds it hard because I'm very open with how with my what I believe.
Hey, he picked you.
Hey,
right?
we should all be allowed to be open with what we believe.
We should be able to be open. And as I say, this is why I think what we need to embrace this, okay? It is important to be different, and we need people. And I find that people with ADHD or these personality traits, even if you're not diagnosed, even if you're not down the line ADHD, I find them to be people of integrity in a far stronger, and that's just my experience. I can't speak for everybody, but I feel far more trust in people who quite frankly rattle their mouth off, who don't have the filter, right? I think it's a positive thing. I think it's something we need to embrace.
We need to get to these questions, guys.
We definitely do. There's so many coming through.
So let me go back to, and I hope I pronounced this correctly, 𝐕𝐀𝐬. How does one know they have ADHD, Helen?
Well, I didn't know. I'd been a few times people had sort of alluded to the fact I was a bit over the top, or, gosh, don't shut up. And something else that has crossed my mind, and it's my impulsiveness.
Right.
And also I like to butt in all the time. Like if with some of the conferences we'd go to, like with the Inner Origin.
Yeah.
There'd be people talk, a guest speaker, and I'd always go, but why? Can you tell me? Oh, and I put my hands up, and I thought, and I only now I understand that is an actual, You want to be part of
Yeah.
it all the time.
Mhm.
And I think, why am I like that?
So one of the things that I noticed in those inner origin days when you were part of my team was you tended to take things very, very literally.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
Interesting.
And we had an instance where you had emailed out, because in network marketing, you pique people's interest and then you talk to them about your product or service. And you took that literally. So you sent an email out to your whole email list, and then you didn't understand why nobody got back to you because you're so
I'll
genuine.
tell you something really funny though.
Yeah.
That this is sparked something. I was doing my prison officer training. We're out at one of the.
I can't imagine you as a screw. I mean, that's just.
I was a bloody good screw,
I can
Aaron.
imagine.
I behave.
Oh.
But what I'm going to get
Yeah.
back to Lisa.
Yeah.
There was an instant where we had to do role playing.
Okay.
And this poor guy was in this cell, and it was out at Riverdale, a prison that had closed, where we could do our training. And this actor, they're all actors, you see, and here he was lying on this bed, and I had to run in there because there was a fire. I mean, it wasn't real fire, but I played the role, and poor man, in the end, he had skid marks. Oh, I've got to get you out of here. And I went, and the officer running, of course, Helen, it's role play.
It's pretend, Helen. It's
It's
not
pretend.
really happening.
And I just thought, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Yes. Anyway,
So Rochelle's asked, what are the most common signs of ADHD in adults versus children, and how do they differ? So do most adults, and this is an interesting question, I think, do
No,
most
yeah.
adults that are diagnosed with ADHD, was it late onset symptoms, or did they always have it?
I believe what I've noted when I've spoken to quite a few people with ADHD, they've generally found their ADHD when they've got children with ADHD,
Okay.
and the behaviours of their children, it actually they actually see themselves going.
So
I
the
do
penny
that.
drops. Like,
And
where'd they
that-
get that from?
And that's why I sometimes think it's genetic.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
my
Is
mother's,
yours genetic?
mad
genetics.
too.
I'm so glad you brought this up, because I just noticed a comment that came up, which isn't on the screen. I might just go and drag it and look.
Christian.
Christian, I think this is funny because, and I say this thing, and I'll just hide that one if I may. And Christian's comment here. Okay, here we go. Now, Christian has actually said he's been diagnosed, and I'll just wait for the screen to pop
I've
up,
been diagnosed with ADHD as a 46-year-old.
as a 46-year-old, right?
Yes.
Okay, now, won't bore you with the entire story, but only a few years ago, Christian and we came across each other in the sport of rallying, right? Motorsport. Anyway, and fantastic, all that kind of thing. And then we realised about a year on after that we're actually related, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Wow.
So our mums are cousins. So that makes us second cousins, or however it works, right? So it's really nice
yes.
to meet new family. But it's, as far as, okay,
Well, it's genetically, obviously.
a genetic thing, it is interesting. Yeah,
You
Christian.
both like rallying, and you're both absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that
That's
covers
right.
it. Exactly right. It's got to be genetics. But it's interesting because I've
And
looked at
salt
other
of the earth.
Oh, of
other
course,
family
salt of the
members.
earth.
Oh, thank
They
you.
know
There
that
we go.
already.
But I've looked at other family members, and yeah, there is a trait that goes through that side
Yeah,
of the
you can-
family, very much through more my mum's side of the family than my dad's. So,
I see it in my situation on both sides.
oh, you
I've got a brother. He's
double threat.
what would you call it?
Oh.
He's amazing, really. What he's done a lot.
Okay.
He's a farmer, but he's always thinking outside the square and doing all sorts of different types of activities.
Good on him.
And he's doing a lot with saltbush and
Right.
salty land. So he's actually gone ahead and done something on how to use that as a production. And he's amazing. He's got all this
Because
extraordinary.
he's thinking outside the squares.
I believe that's exactly right. And he's done that with wool, done that with his sheep, and yeah.
Wow.
I find, and then my mother's she's like me a bit too. And yeah, so I think there is something there with genetics.
Okay.
And I believe food, like we've said before, and preservatives.
Yes.
I do believe, I think there's an over ADHD. It took me a long time to understand that. Do I really have ADHD?
Yeah, okay.
Is it something to do with what's happened in my past? Is it to do with the food I eat? Is it this or is it that? And I actually believe I do actually have whatever this is.
Yeah, look, I think it's massively over-diagnosed. I think, as I say, some
Yeah.
people are doing it for financial reasons, and that really makes me quite angry because of the the payments made by Centrelink, and so many of those things are exploited. Too many kids are put on antidepressants for that reason. But
antidepressant is a problem. I think we need to get people out into the fresh air.
Oh, so true.
It's computing, like all this stuff on. I mean, I do it too.
Yeah.
Because it stimulates you. It's like, ooh, what's going on? But I have to, when I go for my big walk every day with my dogs.
Yep.
I don't take my phone. I go.
Good on you.
I go for a swim every second day. Do my kilometre, and that makes me feel good.
Right.
I do breathing exercises. And I do all these things to calm me down because I can get so wound up.
Do you take any natural supplements, or do you have any natural modalities that you go to?
I don't take any medication of any sort apart from Dr. Zelensky's COVID protocol.
Okay, good.
All the way from America.
So let's just whiz through there. So we're not treating, diagnosing or curing, and none of us here have the qualifications to do so. So I think we would probably all agree that it's not possible for someone to outgrow ADHD, like it is something that you inherently part of your personality. Would everyone agree with that?
I think you can learn to accommodate your habits of ADHD. Like
once you're aware,
you understand it a little bit more.
So
it's very empowering. I believe
use it as a
empowering.
gift.
I agree.
Use it as a gift.
Yeah.
But those qualities don't go away. I mean, no.
Sometimes
I love
it's
that Aaron and I
annoying.
came together as cousins. Definitely been amazing support.
Oh,
that's really
cool.
cool.
Right back at you, buddy.
What does he want?
I think what Lisa says here is really good. Now, Lisa represents the People's Health Alliance.
Yes.
And she says ADHD usually has comorbidities. Depression, anxiety are the two most common, she believes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I mean, I think
Everyone's different.
I think they go a little bit with autism traits too, depression and anxiety, and I think that's underlying in a lot of people.
Yeah.
Here's one
feels
thing
like-
that I'm going to say.
I think life can be depressing.
Exactly right.
Seriously.
But why do we have this obsession, with labeling ourselves?
I know.
Labeling it is ridiculous.
Yeah,
to
that's why I
say-
choose not to label myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm generally speaking very optimistic, but not everyone is.
No.
That's where I've got to understand is I generally can be really pissed off about something, but then I'll come and go, hello, everything's wonderful. And it pisses people off.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's an interesting, I remember going to work. This is when I was Centrelink. I go, hello. And everyone, I think it made people go, oh gosh, she's always so bloody happy.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it. I thought, tone it down. Because not everyone's having a good day.
You shouldn't need to tone yourself down.
No, I understand that, but it made me aware that sometimes
when you're in a service role, it's a bit
people
different. I
are
think.
coming from all different backgrounds. This is
Yeah.
within the people we're working with. I love the people.
Come from a
I won't
place
go
of
to the
compassion.
management side of things because I've always found the cronyism and the nepotism sucks.
Yes.
Basically. But I won't say anymore.
So how
ego.
can one prevent ADHD? I think we were saying before, weren't we?
I don't think you prevent it.
It's a case of eating and living as naturally as you can to be able to make the most of those symptoms.
And you can, once you're aware that you have got these symptoms and behaviours, then you can really make the most of those as well. But when you're not aware of it, like I wasn't, I always felt odd. And I never felt.
Yeah.
Oh, you are odd. Helen, you're definitely odd.
I love that, Lisa. What's the point of doing a role play if you can't throw yourself in?
So true, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Hey, I live by this. So two things, okay? Go hard or go home, right? Okay?
Yes.
Go hard or go home. And also, bite off more than you can chew and chew like hell. The great Peter Brock said that. And I think that's a great way to live because, and also this comment before about, like, how do you get over ADHD? Don't.
Embrace it.
Embrace it.
Yeah.
Learn.
And be aware of your behaviours.
Yeah.
And you will piss people off sometimes.
Cool.
But then ordinary people piss me off sometimes too. We all piss off each other. And that's just life, isn't it?
That's the humanness.
Good point here from, how do I convince an ADHD individual without making it turn into a full-blown argument?
I don't think you can convince anyone.
Convince them of what? Not
Yeah.
sure. Is this a husband and wife situation?
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
buying into that one. Good luck, you're on your
We're
own,
not
buddy.
relationship counsellors either. Just
Well, you don't
Yes.
might be a female.
Oh, well, could be.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. I've just assumed.
Yeah.
How dare I assume? So many great questions.
Oh, geez,
here.
we need a
And
relationship
it's
show
an
for that one.
interesting-
We do.
I travelled for a lot overseas, and
Right.
let me reframe that. I did nursing, and then I hurt my knee, and they said, "Oh, you'll never be able to nurse again." I went, "Oh, great," because I didn't. I actually went into nursing because it was an advert in the paper, and I thought, "I'll do nursing," and I'm so glad I did because I learned a lot about nursing.
Oh, so you did a full nursing degree?
No, I
or
did my enrolled
Oh,
nursing,
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
and then I was going to come up to Perth and do the next bit
Wow.
because I actually enjoyed it. I thought, wow, this is really good. And then, no. So then I travelled to Australia and I ended up working at a youth hostel in Coffs Harbour.
Okay.
God, it was the best thing I've honestly, I was the
I felt like that
entertainment
was-
officer. I was able to take them off paddling canoes, going through the rainforest, going up to the big banana, teach them how to surf. I didn't even know how to surf. But, this is how to know.
You're now an expert.
This is your goofy foot. And I just loved it. And I met someone over there and they said, why don't you come over to England? Come over. And so I did. And
So
ended
that's
up,
the impulsive thing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did that within 2 days.
Yeah.
That's the,
I
and
do
this-
impulsive
and
things
that's interesting
too.
because my
Yeah.
physio said to
I'm
me,
going. See you later.
Done.
but the physio
Oh, yeah.
who,
I put-
said,
yeah.
who said to me, oh my gosh, I think you got ADHD. She said, Helen, you don't seem to have any fear. And I'd never thought of that before. I thought, what am I to be fearful of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she said, well, I wouldn't have just taken, because I told her about going over to, just sold my car and off I went. And she said, I could never do that. And I thought, really? It had never crossed my mind. Because I used to hitchhike and all sorts of things. I'd never do that now. That
No,
was
different world.
the 70s, 80s.
We've got a great question here, Aaron.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. So
I reckon this is directed at you. It feels like.
Ah!
That's what it feels like.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this question.
So Eddie's asking, have you got any tips if you're actually working for somebody that, as an employer that has ADHD?
I don't know. I just know
Is
working.
it more challenging?
I'd say an employer who's got someone,
ADHD.
Mm.
So someone who was working for you.
but now that I now know it, I'd probably I'd be able to compensate. But I didn't understand. I thought I couldn't.
But if you didn't know it and you had someone working for you, how would they best be able to,
they probably wouldn't work for me very long.
You know, I've actually,
She's mad.
I've actually been in this situation. So I've had staff who, and I didn't know why I was the way I was, and I couldn't understand why don't they work as hard as me? Why don't they think like
Oh
me?
my
And I couldn't
God,
understand.
yes.
That's my husband.
That's the truth.
Yeah, like why don't they take ownership? Okay,
Yes.
I just couldn't understand it, and until I actually understood myself more, and then it made far more sense. I wanted this one from Des John Mills. Look, he's written like an absolute paragraph here, mate. And I think we
yes.
need to go with this one because we are so over time. So,
Yeah.
God.
Leanne,
Ooh.
you're closer to the screen. If you could read
Sure.
that.
I was diagnosed by a psychiatrist nearly 2 years ago, answered many questions I had for years. I never followed through with medication, just felt like I had the tools. However, after a few traumatic events in a short period, a run of bad luck, seemingly repeated bad decisions, I became overwhelmed, overloaded by Facebook, social media, daily life. Symptoms got progressively worse and debilitated. Within the first few days of starting a new medication, I noticed subtle changes. And now there's a little bit that's just cut off that I can't read.
The screen's
So
not letting us see.
less agitated.
Yeah.
Less
agitated, yeah. But,
Okay, there we go.
and I can't.
I
So,
think that's
yeah.
true. Yeah, I can actually vouch for that
think
too.
that's, yeah. I think
No,
that's
identify with
most
that.
people.
For-
Yeah, I
No
did.
doubt
That's
about
the
it.
word.
Thank you for sharing, Des.
Yeah, I really appreciate
We
that.
could have kept going for another hour
We
on
really
this,
could.
but you guys are going to get bored of seeing our faces, I think.
So is there anyone around, is there any way people around can support someone with ADHD? I love that question. So how can people support you, Helen?
Well, interestingly enough, my psychiatrist supported me
Okay.
because I am a bit of a nerd. I really enjoy history, philosophy, topics that a lot of people don't seem to be that
Oh,
interested
nerd
in.
alert. Oh,
And so he gave me the opportunity to go and see him every 4 to 5 weeks.
right.
And I said, I just want you to be open and honest. Now he was leaning left politically,
Okay.
and I would neither lean left or right, but people would say I'm far right for some reason. But I just like the truth. You know, I just want the facts. And he gave me the opportunity to speak.
Sure.
And he'd give his opinion. We'd have some bloody big arguments.
With your psychiatrist.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
That's brilliant, all right?
He's from South Africa, and he's now gone back to South Africa. And this is, honestly, I probably cry now. But I saw him in the supermarket just before he left. And I just said, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. And he said, Helen, you have a beautiful brain. And I was like, really?
What about people in everyday life?
I don't know. I've been fortunate. I've never really I've been pretty I've had lots of friends. I think people are because of COVID, a lot of you're either one way or the other generally.
Sure.
And that's made people politically, I find, you know, you're either in one camp or the other. And I think there's so
You just find your people, don't you?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's always more than two sides to a story. And that's what I've found difficult in the last 5 years. We've only ever heard one side, and there's been no actual debate. You're not allowed to even get on. You can't even mention, say, Trump, and everyone goes, you know, just like, well, why don't you like him? Oh, my God, Helen, he's a big orange monster. But
because the media said that he's bad. He's orange man
fake
bad.
news told us
Spot
that.
on. Yeah.
But it's not like I'm for Trump or I just looked
How
into
did we get
him.
on to Trump?
I know. It just
I know. I will answer this if I may interject.
This is the best thing.
It's because, before all this started,
Donald.
I used to consider myself centre left.
This is
right?
ADHD.
Okay? I used to consider myself
And
centre left.
ADHD.
You can't prove that. Well, you can. But what I'm getting at is the line has moved and the
Yes.
truth has moved. I don't care. I just want the facts. I want truth,
Yes.
right? And it's very, very interesting that there is a lot of people, and they tend to be on the left, are willing to accept lies. They are very comfortable.
They don't even know it though. This is a
Well,
sad
they're comfortable with comfortable
I
lies.
think
into
the
another
best
show?
way you
We
can.
are.
I think
We
the
better
best
stop,
way
really.
you
We
can
just,
support
No, but-
someone with ADHD is to just be there when they're needed, just like any other human being. Be a very decent human being.
Yeah,
That's
be
how I think you
patient.
can be.
But what I believe it's given me the opportunity to actually be curious. And I've got the ability to do the research.
Sure.
And whether I'm right or wrong, I'm curious that, and I'll use Trump as an example. In 2016, you can hate him. I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter. But
You need to
I
run the
couldn't
Friday
understand
show.
who
We do.
voted for him if our media keeps saying he's 110% bad. Someone must have voted for him. So I ended up looking into it.
Yep.
I didn't even know what a donkey was or an elephant, but I now know the elephant's Republican and the donkey are the Democrats. And I actually know more about American politics than I probably do about Australian politics. And I know the media is not our friend.
They're not.
And it is so obvious when you really look into it. But a lot of people don't have the time or the inclination. And I get that. Not everyone likes politics. I
Well,
didn't either, but I love it now.
The great thing, Helen, is when you're ADHD, we can be like a computer and have all those tabs open at the same time and take information from here, there, and everywhere. And I think, to my mind, as I say, I love it because it gives me my life, the power to actually find the truth and find the information. I'm a person who's thirsty for
and be
knowledge.
discerning with
Bingo.
what it's all about discernment.
Of course it is.
And
course.
I don't know, it's so frustrating how it's not the people's fault.
Great.
The people are waking up to it, I believe now,
Mhm.
but it's our government and those so-called experts that they rely on and our mainstream media
I couldn't
that
agree
need
more.
to be more accountable. I respect anyone's point of view, but those three have really made me quite angry.
Well,
quite not angry.
There's a reason why,
frustrated.
only 19% of the population now get their information, their main news from the mainstream.
But I get it
corporate
from
media.
Edge Radio.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you? I
Absolutely.
hear great things about these guys. They're fantastic. Now,
I love what you're playing, Lisa. I
Now-
love that you're playing some of these.
Yeah, Lisa, that's fantastic. You put the comments
What
up.
do you play?
Okay. That has been playing through the social media through the week. And in fact, I'll use this opportunity to say thank you, Lisa, for this social media that you put through
Yeah, I
this week,
appreciate
because I
that
think
too.
it's just fired a lot of people up, and it's great to have conversation. And, conversation is the way that we find results and we find answers, right, by talking about it. So it's just
Bring it out
fantastic
into
to
the
see.
open.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah,
Well-
freedom of speech. Hey,
That's what it's all about,
somebody should
right?
start a
Edge Radio is
station
freedom
about
of
that.
speech.
And whether you're right or wrong, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
I want to do a quick shout out before we sign off.
Yep.
So I want to say thank you so much to 𝐸𝐷, who's in the green room
Yay,
at the
𝐸𝐷.
moment.
Legend.
We see you.
I haven't actually told Aaron, but Worldwide Awake Business Network hit 1K in followers.
Woohoo! Look at you go.
Yeah.
Ah.
So go 𝐸𝐷.
Go, 𝐸𝐷. All right.
𝐸𝐷, 𝐸𝐷.
And with that absolute bombshell saying we are so over time. So,
Yeah.
no, go.
And so I just wanted to say a thank you to
Thank you,
Helen
𝐸𝐷.
for being here
Oh,
today.
thank you.
Oh, you've been amazing, Helen.
And
Oh,
are you
really?
going to cut us off while these are still going? Because it would be good if people could
No,
watch
I'm going to
them
leave it all the way
all.
to the end. You've
All
made
right.
an
Can I
absolute
say thank
nightmare
you?
for me.
Can I say thank you
Of
too?
course you
certainly
can.
can.
Well, thank you very much for making me feel
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. Very comfortable because I've actually never done anything quite like this before. So,
Oh, look,
and it's been really interesting.
it's easy, isn't it?
I'm
Easy
so glad
conversation.
you lost your virginity with us.
So
Absolutely.
we've got
Yeah.
45 seconds left to go.
Yep.
So it would be good if we could just kind of have our faces back on after all of these have gone through. But isn't it amazing that people were so, am I allowed to use the
Yeah.
word triggered by
Yes.
this subject? I don't
Yes.
think I've had so many comments on any of our
I'm
shows
going to say
before.
passionate. I prefer that.
There are a lot of
Yeah.
comments about, that it's the food that we're eating,
Yeah.
the chemicals in the air, the water that we're drinking. A lot of
and I
comments
believe
about
that's all true. I think there's a whole
vaccinations,
range.
about
I agree.
everything.
I really do.
Some people are probably are put into that spectrum because of those things,
Yeah.
but not everyone. I think there is.
Oh,
There's some people that are actually
Yeah.
born that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunate. Not unfortunate. I feel very fortunate to be
Yeah.
honest.
It's a superpower. It's like a mate of mine who's got he's a highly functioning guy with autism, right? And I say to him, it's his superpower because of his ability to focus on things is absolutely amazing. I'm quite frankly, I'm jealous of him for that,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
He can do things that I just, I'm blown away with his ability with computers. We are back. We are out of here, though. Thank you so much for everyone for being part of it. Thank you for the crew behind the scenes. Thank you, 𝐸𝐷,
Thanks,
for your
𝐸𝐷.
wonderful work.
And thank you, Rochelle, as well.
Oh,
'cause
Rochelle.
because she did some of those videos as well.
Thank you, Rochelle.
Thanks, Rochelle.
Gee, we've got some wonderful people
We
around here.
certainly do.
Thank you very much for being part of the creating great problems for me on the Sunday replay. It is, of course, the one thing here on Edge Radio.
Ever felt lost online finding the right businesses?
Absolutely, like a needle in a haystack.
Introducing the Worldwide Awake Business Directory.
Tell me more.
It's your hub for businesses sharing your values. Discover eco-friendly products, socially responsible services, and more.
Count me in. I'll check it out straight away.
Find businesses aligned with your values on the Worldwide Awake Business Directory. Start making a difference with every purchase.